again to Purse Empowerment TV. It is Monday, so you know we are talking all about money. And on this show, Purse Empowerment TV, the only goal is for you to attach yourself to at least one life-changing habit that will have a huge impact on your purse, okay? Today, and we've been talking about this, me, my mommy, and our money, but today specifically, we're going to talk about breastfeeding and how breastfeeding has an impact on your budget. Would you believe that even the breastfeeding has an impact on your budget? This is near and dear to my heart. Not only literally speaking, but actually speaking. Because in some regard, I'm sure like there's some type of engorgement having fed my kid. Okay, so I'm here to have that conversation because, of course, I could not tackle this subject area while after breastfeeding 2 children, one for 19 months, the other one is like on 28 months, 28 months at this point. He should be getting off these now. I know, right? Here to tackle that conversation with me is someone that my husband probably would like for me to stop talking to because I keep telling her I want to wean and she keeps saying, no, Shawnee, you can do it. You can do it. And she has actually been coaching me through this entire experience, through all the late night calls of saying, Nicole, I can't breastfeed this baby no more. I don't want to do this no more. I can't do it. It's too much. It's too demanding. I can't do it anymore. It's stealing my purse, Nicole. And she coached me through every part of that conversation. And I don't want her just in my purse. I want to share her with you. Her name is Nicole Vassiana. She is a licensed registered nurse because she's already put some purse in my power in my purse by telling me there is a difference between a licensed nurse and a licensed registered nurse.
No, just registered.
Registered. Y'all got that?
Registered.
Good. All right. If you need to Google that, you heard it. Registered. Got it? Good. All right. So today we're not talking about her registration. We're going to be talking about some lactation. All right? Little lactation, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Nicole, let's talk a little bit about this. Now, right now, would you say that the popularity of breastfeeding is on a upward movement now?
Absolutely. We see a lot more women wanting to breastfeed. It's more natural. We see it also with the moving towards being more organic. So we see a lot more women wanting to take that on and incorporate that into their childbirth and their baby's first year of life, is including that into their life.
Okay. So while that all sounds good, because there's so many health benefits and things like that. Let me tell you what I've been dealing with. As a breastfeeding mom, this is what I'm dealing with. Every book that I've read on breastfeeding, I want to throw it out. I wish I could go to the library and just clean out the whole breastfeeding section. Exactly. Because I'm like, okay, while you're telling me about these health benefits and you're telling me about how it's going to impact my budget, you did not tell me how it was just going to rob me of my whole time. Like the baby won't get off. You didn't say that in the books. And I don't like that at all. I just want to let you know the people who wrote those books, it ain't right. And it has had an impact on my budget, both good and not.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now that I've had my little vent, I let it go. All the people who wrote those breastfeeding books that did not talk about how demanding breastfeeding was and how the kid may not want to get off unless you move him off and he cries and screams and stuff like that. But we can get through that, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so why is breastfeeding good for your budget?
Okay, so I think when we think about the benefits, when we think about money and budget, we immediately go to, the cost of formula.
Okay, so
that's
the cost of formula ends up to be about how much?
We're talking about women that breastfeed will save on average per year per child $1,200.
Okay, so per year per child you're saving $1,200.
Yes.
So if you want to, instead of buying formula, you could create a savings plan, $100 a month, so totaling out to be $1,200 a month, and you can actually put that in a savings plan. That's a purse power move, all right?
Boom.
So for those of you that are just starting out thinking about no breastfeeding, how am I going to save for my money? Just cut the formula, $1,200. Instead of buying formula, you can put that in a savings account.
And let's just make a note, that's just regular old Enfamil Similac formula. That's not, let's say, if you want to purchase organic formula, or let's say your child has an allergy, you need hypoallergenic formula.
Wow.
Or let's say your child has reflux and your child needs like Gentulase. So that's just like an average saving we see on regular formula.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right, good. So we're going to save some money for sure. And then that's just on formula, but we also are not going to buy bottles anymore.
Well, not necessarily.
Okay,
because,
so let's talk about
no,
that.
because some moms do want that additional benefit. They want to be able to, let's say, go out and they want to be able to pump so someone else can feed the baby. Or let's say when they talk about returning back to work, if that is your situation, then you will need to continue to pump and then to bottle it in order to continue breastfeeding, if that's your situation. So they do have to then still purchase bottles, but then that's later on.
Okay. So those are the. Can you think of any other monetary value? One, you can save a lot more money when it comes to not buying formula instead and doing some breastfeeding. It also has a lot of health benefits. So going to the doctor. Okay.
So let's talk about because we always talk about exactly the initial benefits, the formula, but there's definitely some long-term benefits that I think we don't actually correlate and put together. So for example, we all know they tell you don't give your child anything other than breast milk or milk for the first 6 months, you know, because their systems just aren't ready for that. In certain communities, I know like in our communities, we introduce the rice cereal, you know, because it helps to keep them through the night. But what we don't realize is that it sets them up for things like allergies and autoimmune diseases. So we don't necessarily correlate those health risks and health factors into how it affects us financially, but it does.
Right, it definitely
I'm dealing
does.
with that now with my son with his asthma. You know, when we're talking about the cost of doctor visits, urgent care, we're talking about
taking off from work.
I've missed so much work because of his asthma. We're talking about one inhaler costs you $50.
Okay.
An EpiPen costs you $50. You know, so those things definitely impact your budget, and that's more long term. But we don't see that initially in the beginning.
So let's do some purse power moves for those of you that are taking some time. You know what happened?
What?
We didn't pay the people.
We didn't.
We didn't pay the people. All right, you ready? We gotta go back and pay the
Show me
people.
how to
All
pay
right,
the
so I'm gonna
people.
show
Okay.
you how to pay the people. On this show, we not only give wealth wisdom, but we have to put some money in their spiritual purses. Are you ready? It goes like this.
Show me. That's how we do it.
All right, you ready? Let's go. You gotta have a big one at the end though.
Okay.
That's like a whole lot of money. I need you to lock some money in your mind. You got it?
Got it.
You got it.
I got
Let's
it.
go. See? Now they feel richer. You feel a whole lot richer. I know that you do. All right, so back into the conversation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, because those of you, they inbox me, they say, Shani, we liked everything that you had to say, but you didn't give us no money today. I just did, and I hope you feel richer, because I do, just giving it to you. All right, so back into the conversation. All right, so let's get some purse power moves. Number one, the way that you can save when it comes to breastfeeding is that the initial benefits of not having to buy formula, you can save on average $1,200, okay? And that's just buying base level formula. The next purse power move that you gave to us is saying that you're also going to have some long-term benefits because those mothers that are breastfeeding, they have a lesser chance of having to go to the doctor as frequently. They're not having to take off from work, so that's not going to have an impact on their purse, and it's going to reduce some of those allergies, so they're not going to have to spend as much money on prescriptions.
Absolutely.
All right, so any other benefits that we can talk about when it relates to your purse when it comes to breastfeeding?
That's good.
Those are good.
Yeah.
All right, so we got that. All right, now here's the other part that I wanted to get in. Now, sometimes, right, I felt like in some regard, the baby wanted to get my purse. You understand me?
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about, I felt like the baby, when it came to my budget and the breastfeeding and the ability to continue to be a mompreneur, this baby had it out for it. He was like, listen, I need this here milk. And at some points it got to be too much. So that was beginning, the breastfeeding was starting to impact my budget. So what are you telling to mompreneurs that are juggling nursing children who don't want to wean? Hello. How are we dealing with that? How do we begin to have some level of control of those situations?
Okay, so I think this is a very important conversation that you need to have before the baby's even here. I love working with moms during their pregnancy because like, that's the time to start setting yourself up and creating plans. And you're all about the plan, right?
Yes, all about
so during your pregnancy is a really good time to sit down and meet with your financial advisor and start clipping some things out of your budget, saving costs, and putting it away because unfortunately, you know, we don't have maternity leave, paid maternity leave here in the United States.
Right.
So most moms, when they're home with their child, that's it.
Yeah, they tap out of the FMLA benefits.
Right. And that's
Right.
it. And so if you want to stay home beyond what they're offering you, then you've got to have a backup plan. So definitely take some time during your pregnancy to sit down and start working through that budget and figuring those things out. Also, I feel as if as moms, as women, we're curators of information, right? So thank God for technology and the way it's set up today that we have access to using that information as a means of creating then a stream of income, right?
Yes.
So I think every woman is an expert at something. So I think it's time to start looking in that bag, right?
In that purse.
Looking in that purse and finding what your expertise is and how that you can take that hobby or that expertise and then use it as creating a stream of income for you while you are home. Because as you said, unless you're going to then go back to work full time and you want to continue breastfeeding, then it becomes an issue. Having a stream of income during those first few months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever.
Okay, so
Breastfeeding.
the purse power move on that is while you're pregnant, you can begin planning. But what if you're like me and you don't do that, right?
Right.
You just get pregnant, you have the baby's in there, and you're juggling your purse, and you have the milk, and you don't know what to do, and you're like, ah, this baby's trying to take my purse. All right?
Okay,
so if you're already in it, you didn't plan.
Okay.
You're in the postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
What type of things that you can begin to have some level of balance between the duality of both of those roles, building an empire and breastfeeding?
Well, I definitely think you need to take some time off in the beginning. So let's not even try to jump back into all of that.
Okay.
No, take 30 days off. Take some time, just bond with your child. Focus on building that breastfeeding relationship. That's important if that's what you want to do.
Right.
And then give yourself a timeline. Say, okay, by this time I want to then start dibbling dabbling. So maybe just one day, a few hours out of the day. And this is where having those support systems come into play, because this is not something you can do by yourself. So who's in your community? Who's a part of your village? Who can you rely on to, hey, I need to come watch this baby for like a couple of hours, and mommy can go handle some business or just let my hair down for a minute.
Okay.
So there's definitely there's ways to still manage that even during the I didn't plan period.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's definitely going to take relying on some other people.
Okay, good. All right, so that is for our mompreneurs, that's for our moms that are in pregnancy. Let's talk to our working moms, because a lot of the times I have conversations with working moms who did want to have that type of breastfeeding relationship, but they can't get rid of the guilt of not being able to do it. So what can we give to them so that they can some way, foster a healthy relationship?
Absolutely. So number one, I still go back to having a great support system.
Okay.
Number two, that's something that a lot of moms face, so you're not alone in that and feeling that way. And then three, my professor Jeannie Baker, said something to me during my lactation course that I would take with me to my grave, and it's, you did the best you could with what you knew and where you were.
Say that part again for me, because that right there would be something, if you're taking notes, something that you would definitely need to write down. So tell me what it is you're doing the best you could.
You're doing the best you could with where you were and what you knew.
Okay, you're doing the best you could with where you were and what you knew at the time. Okay, great. So this is for our working mothers, so that they don't have to totally give up their purse, and they don't have to totally give up breastfeeding. They can find some type of balance, some type of gray area where they can be able to have a healthy relationship with both working to make some money and also with breastfeeding, so that they can have both of those benefits. So what do their habits need to be so that they can have that effective relationship?
Planning, definitely planning. It's going to take some planning. It's something that you may need to sit down with your employer and find a way that you can still be at work but still set aside that time so that you can pump, because pumping is going to play a crucial role.
Okay.
There's no way really to continue breastfeeding at home if you're not pumping when you're away from your baby.
Okay.
So finding a place at work that you can pump, and then how you're going to store it, if you need to store it, all of those things. And that's something that employers are required by law to provide. So making sure that you are having that conversation with your employer and planning it out. And like you said, just finding your own journey, creating like your own balance, realizing that your breastfeeding journey and experience may not look like everyone else, and that's okay.
Right.
Your child is still getting those benefits, and you're still creating that bond.
Great. They're still getting the budget benefits, the bond, and the breastfeeding.
That's right,
I
girl.
think that they have won. I think that they've got a lot to pack their purse with. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do hope that whether you are pregnant and you're thinking about breastfeeding, or you're already breastfeeding and you're a mompreneur, or you're a working mom and you want to be able to have the impacts on your budget that comes along with the breastfeeding journey, if you need to connect with Nicole, how can they connect with you?
Okay, you can visit me on my website. That's villagematernityservices.com. You can also reach out to me via email. It's a great way to access me, and that's info@villagematernityservices.com.
Okay, so what type of services do you offer to these new moms? What is it that you offer to them?
So right now my focus is on lactation. It's on breastfeeding. It's a huge component of what I'm doing right now. So if you visit my website, you'll see that I have some online virtual programs available, and that's for moms who are not immediately in my area, who are not in Miami, but also I also offer private in-home consultation services, and also I have classes that you can find on the website as well.
All right. Well, folks, Nicole is definitely in my purse. She keeps me breastfeeding, and she she makes sure that it does not impact my budget, because when I'm telling her, listen, I'm about to give this baby this purse, she says, no, Shawnee, just keep going. You can do it. All right. So if you guys want to connect with us at the live event that is going to take place on Saturday, May 30th, there's a link below here that says register. You can click that link and go ahead and register. Nicole is going to be there packing us with some breastfeeding wealth wisdom, how it impacts your purse for years and years to come. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.